So why should we trust anyone or anything? Well, remember what trust is. Trust is confidence in someone else's promises. It's basically, trust is based on past performance. Did someone do what they said they were going to do? And as they do what they said they were going to do, they start to build trust. They become trustworthy. And that goes for things or people. For instance, I like to buy things on Amazon for many reasons, right? There's many reasons that we buy there. But one of the features that I like the most on Amazon is the reviews. In fact, I don't buy anything anymore without looking at the reviews, because I want to know that the description of the person selling me this product is actually trustworthy. I buy from trustworthy people. So if 1,000 people have given a product 5 stars, I know that I can trust this person and they're not selling me a piece of junk. In the same way, as you approach your finals, as you're studying during this week for finals and doubt starts to set in, let's just look at your past performance. If you've done well all year, you've put in the work and it's rendered results. If you've put in the work and you've done well on tests, why are you starting to doubt that now you putting in the work this week is not going to render the same result? Why do you not trust? Why do you not trust that your efforts are going to pay off? And finally, if you haven't had good results, we should look at past performance. Have I not put in the work? Have I slacked off? Have I not done well on tests? And I have put in the work. Well, we have to revise things. Just like if we were making a product, we would have to say, what's the next rendition? What is the upgrade that I need to be able to be competitive, to be able to be my best? Well, maybe right now we need to resurrect our efforts. It's time for an upgrade. Maybe during this final season, you can do it. Trust in your ability. You got here, and now it's time to perform. How about trusting in people? How do we trust in, I don't know, let's say God? Isn't that the question that we're all asking? How do I trust more in the Lord? Well, let's look at his past performance. Let's look at the ways that he's been trustworthy in the past and see if he is trustworthy, if he's worthy of our trust. Think about the Old Testament, all the covenants. Ever since God created, he started to make covenants with his people. And why did he do that? He did that because he was drawing the human family into his own family, into God's family. And he called that covenantal love. Basically, he's offering himself to us and we offer ourselves back to him. And he's drawing us together. His entire plan was for union of the human family in his life. And so he starts with Adam. And then he goes to Noah. And then to Abraham, to Moses, to David. And finally, he sends his son, Jesus Christ. All of these covenants are ways in which he keeps promising himself to his people in the midst of his people being unfaithful. This is what I love about our Lord, that he's unfailingly faithful. Even when Israel, throughout the entire Old Testament, you can read the stories through the prophets, Israel is always unfaithful. His best leaders are unfaithful. And yet still he is faithful. He offers them another covenant and another covenant. The reason we have so many is because of God's faithfulness. He always comes back offering more, offering a chance back in the family. God is faithful. And sometimes we forget that the Old Testament applies to us. God gave all of those covenants and he gave us the scriptures so that we could look back and say, yes, he is trustworthy. I can see his past performance and know that I can trust him now. And finally, why do we tell the story of Jesus' crucifixion and death all the time? Because that is the most trustworthy moment of God's entire life. I mean, what's in it for someone to die? Nothing for themselves. It's only to draw people back in to say that this man is trustworthy. He died for truth. He died so that you would believe, and not only believe, that you would trust in him. Oftentimes people ask, why did Jesus have to go through such a gruesome death? Why did he have to die? I think it's a great question because the answer to that is, yes, you're right. He could have snapped his fingers and saved the world. He didn't have to die. But he chose to die. And one of the reasons, among many, one of the reasons is so that we would trust. So that we would see the depths of his love. We would see that there was nothing in it for himself except for our souls, except for bringing us into his family. God is ultimately trustworthy. To his death, he's trustworthy. Would we distrust someone who is willing to die for us? That should be the question when we look at the Lord. Well, his track record proves it. He's trustworthy. It's up to us to now enter into that with our trust. I love the song Oceans by Hillsong, in which they say, He's never failed, and he won't start now. Why do we believe that if God's been faithful forever, that he's going to start being unfaithful now? We have to put our trust in him. I know you have faith. I know you have faith. And I'm inviting you once again. I'm inviting you to trust. He is trustworthy. His track record tells the story. It's time for us to enter into that living faith, which is living out of trust.